You really can't make this up. Rachel Reeves, yes. The same chancellor who just delivered one of the harshest inheritance tax rates in modern British history has herself been hit with a Supreme Court seizure order tied directly to her own secretive inheritance scheme. Let that sink in. While ordinary British families making 20,000 a year are being dragged into inheritance tax bills of 170,000 or more, Rachel Reeves was quietly moving her own family wealth through a maze of offshore accounts, trusts, and loopholes, and now she's been caught red-handed. The hypocrisy off the charts. Welcome back to US Treasy News. And today we expose what could be the most devastating blow yet to Labour's so-called tax fairness narrative. For months, Reeves has stood at podiums across the country claiming this tax overhaul would only affect the ultra-wealthy. She said it was about fairness, about ensuring the rich paid their fair share. All the while, behind the scenes, she was orchestrating an aggressive asset shielding operation that would make a billionaire blush. This isn't just a bad look, it's a national disgrace. According to legal sources, the scheme involved offshore entities, shell trusts, and the rerouting of pension assets, classic avoidance tactics. And yet, this is the same woman who proudly declared that from 2027, your pension, no matter how small, would be classified as part of your estate and taxed at 40% upon your death. Think about that. You followed the rules. You saved for retirement. You lived modestly, responsibly. You bought a home worth, say, 268,000 below average in many parts of the UK and built a small pension pot just enough to get by. Now, under her plan, your family gets slapped with a death tax they may never recover from. But Rachel, she protected every penny of hers. Until now, because thanks to a bombshell legal challenge, the Supreme Court has ruled that her asset maneuvers amounted to a deliberate evasion of public tax policy. The court has now frozen her family estate, ordered a full audit, and instructed that her holdings be seized and reviewed in detail. This isn't just another political scandal. This is a full-blown meltdown of Labour's credibility on tax justice. Let's break it down. Reeves froze the inheritance tax threshold at 325,000. That may sound like a lot until you factor in inflation and property prices. The result, teens of thousands of average families, working class, middle class, are now being swept into a tax originally intended for the ultra-rich. Then she made pensions taxable upon death, even if they were modest, even if they were earned over 40 years of hard work. She doubled the share of families subject to inheritance tax from 5% to 10%. That's an extra 121,000 households every year being dragged into financial chaos, right when they're grieving the loss of a loved one. All of that, while she moved her own estate around like a chessboard, exploiting the exact loopholes she refused to close for anyone else. This is what betrayal looks like. This is why people no longer trust politicians. You save, you plan, you try to build something to leave behind, and then the same people who told you to be responsible come and take it away. Meanwhile, they protect their own fortunes in silence. Let's not kid ourselves. This wasn't a clerical error. This wasn't poor judgment. This was calculated, methodical, and executed in the shadows. Even one of the justices overseeing the case reportedly called her actions a cynical manipulation of the same laws she promoted publicly. It's not just that she didn't close the loopholes, she used them. Families across Britain will now lose the homes they worked for, the pensions they earned, the savings they carefully built, while Rachel Reeves walks away with millions. Or at least she tried to, but not anymore. Thanks to the court ruling, her wealth is being frozen, examined, and potentially redistributed under the very laws she helped weaponize against the rest of us. Let's be crystal clear. This isn't just about tax. This is about trust. This is about ethics. This is about leadership. Labour sold the public a promised fairness, accountability, justice, but their own chancellor became the embodiment of double standards. And the damage goes deeper than any one person. Investment is at an all-time low. In fact, we now rank the lowest in the land. Productivity lags 20% behind the EU. Entrepreneurs are giving up on family legacies, not because they failed, but because inheritance has become a minefield. Why pass it down if your children will lose nearly half of it overnight? The inheritance tax policy didn't just fail, it poisoned the entire incentive structure of saving and passing wealth responsibly. And the woman behind it, Rachel Reeves, made sure her wealth was shielded first, and now the public knows this is more than headlines. This is a turning point. Let's make no mistake, Labour's front bench is in crisis. Their figurehead on tax justice has been revealed as a backdoor operator. The message it sends is loud and clear. There's one set of rules for the people and another for those in power. And the people, they're furious. This was supposed to be about catching the super rich. Instead, it's hammering nurses, plumbers, teachers, retirees, and young families trying to get by. Meanwhile, the true elite, if they wear the right party colors, get a free pass. Not anymore. The trust is broken. And Rachel Reeves, she just became the poster child for why it's broken. This was today's critical update. At US 360 News, we stand for one thing only true. Not spin, not party lines, just truth. Verified, transparent, and loud if this story matters to you. If you believe fairness should start at the top, not the bottom, then like this video. Leave your thoughts in the comments and make sure you subscribe so we can keep exposing what others want buried. Because this story is far from over. Thank you for watching.